12 News Eye on Agriculture with Britton Rucker.
A federal judge makes the decision on protections for farm workers on temporary visas. Coming up, we'll find out if this impacts Kansas. Plus, we look ahead to the Kansas State Fair and how many 4-Hers are entered in this year's fair and how they're preparing their projects. And the Department of Agriculture wants you to be on the lookout for a certain pest giving farmers a headache all across the Midwest. Good evening and welcome into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. A federal judge has blocked a rule from the Biden administration that would have allowed agricultural workers on visas to unionize. Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach led the multi-state effort. He filed a lawsuit accusing the Department of Labor of exceeding its authority to grant foreign workers rights that U.S. workers don't have. As of now, American ag workers do not have the right to unionize. The judge issued a preliminary injunction saying the plaintiffs would likely win their suit because the department can't create new worker protections without congressional approval. The injunction was only granted in the states involved in the lawsuit. Republican leaders in 24 states asked the Supreme Court to pause a plan by the Environmental Protection Agency to cut methane emissions by 80%. The rule went into effect earlier this year as an effort to curb climate change. It requires states to come up with a plan to reduce methane within 2 years, which the states argue is impossible. They say the rules are an attack on the oil and gas industry. An appeals court rejected the state's request to put the regulations on hold, and now the states hope the Supreme Court will overturn that decision. A liberal got a visit from Senator Jerry Moran this week. He attended a groundbreaking ceremony for the Southwest Airlines new Sapphire plant on Wednesday. There, they convert to corn waste into ethanol, which will be used as aviation fuel. KDHE wants you to be careful if you plan on spending time at the lake this Labor Day. Several ponds and lakes are under blue-green algae warnings. They include Lake Afton, the Harvey County East Lake, and the Gathering Pond in Geary County. Several others are listed under the watch category. Blue-green algae can make you and your pets sick. Make sure to stay out of the water when there are blooms, especially in lakes under warnings right now. Make sure to keep your pets out as well and don't let them drink any of the water. Finally, don't eat fish caught from lakes under blue-green algae warnings. As we head into September, you might be seeing more of the invasive spotted lanternfly. These insects, with their spotted wings and black and red coloring, will start laying eggs on any outdoor surface. And while they are colorful and pretty, they have been damaging plants and trees in several parts of the Northeast and Midwest. The Department of Agriculture recommends you squish the bug if you spot one. Scientists believe the spotted lanternfly arrived on a stone shipment from China back in 2012. This year's Farm Progress Show was hosted in Boone, Iowa. 160,000 people are expected to attend and estimated to bring in $30 million for the local economy. But one of the big talking points is that farmers are struggling. Many of them are having great harvest, but then their produce sells less at market. Experts say there's no need to panic, but farmers should plan ahead.
The agricultural economy is, of course, cyclical. There are ups and downs, but ultimately there's a lot of coming back around.
Many farmers who attended the event, they say they plan to stick it out. They are confident a change is coming in their favor. And speaking of Iowa, check out this body camera footage. This is a runaway water buffalo evading police in Iowa after breaking free on his way to slaughter. You can see the water buffalo playing a little cat and mouse as the buffalo runs back and forth near busy traffic. The buffalo was wounded and is now on a farm sanctuary and working to save the buffalo. The buffalo's name? Well, you can call him Hank. Still ahead on Eye on Agriculture, an Oklahoma rodeo company loses dozens of horses in western Oklahoma. What the owner is saying his horses died from just ahead on Eye on Agriculture.